The gameplay for GameStop is going to be the short squeeze is going to be crazy. I'm going to be talking about BlackBerry and GameStop, specifically what the play should be, not should be, but what could be tomorrow, because tomorrow is super interesting. It's crazy what has happened. It actually relates to the video I just posted recently, where it's basically Jim Cramer explaining how hedge funds are able to manipulate stocks to whatever they want, and they often do it, right? And I think that's exactly what's happening today / tomorrow. Today's January 27th, 2021, and tomorrow is obviously January 28th. And for institutional investors are against WallStreetBets at the moment. It's like rivals, right? It's pretty public. And then if you don't know what WallStreetBets are, what WallStreetBets is, it's basically a Reddit community in terms of they try to find undervalued stocks and they communicate it to everybody in terms of the forum. And then or short squeeze stocks and like try to squeeze them, like in terms of trying to squeeze shorts. That sounded funny. Okay, so basically what has happened is after hours, institutional investors decided basically to drag down the stocks like crazy. So almost all the WallStreetBets stocks that WallStreetBets bet on are low in after hours. And at the same time, to add more fuel to the fire, basically what they ended up doing was basically they tried to create a scare, right? And they did a good job because they did shake up people. Discord bans WallStreetBets servers, right? And they banned them on something pretty, in my opinion, was pretty lame. And by the way, this is all my opinion in terms of if manipulation's happening, etc., like so on and so forth, right? Just my opinion. But it was pretty lame because they said it was on hate speech, because hate speech has been happening on for quite a while on WallStreetBets forums. I've read on the forums and everything. I haven't seen anything, so I think it's just basically they wanted to temporarily do it. Mission accomplished, create a scare. Now, basically, people don't know what to do, and like they're pretty scared. But the good thing is the servers came back on, and everybody's pretty much calm. So I think potentially there's going to be a dip, right? I think, in my opinion. But I'm going to go through it, and I'll show you guys what the play could be on for tomorrow. But just quick thing, like always, I'm not a financial advisor. So quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. I do own shares in BlackBerry, and I've been holding for 6 years. And I don't own shares in GameStop, but it's a really interesting play overall, so I'm going to cover it. And at the same time, it relates pretty much for the most part because WallStreetBets, et cetera, and all that stuff. So I'm going to start off with BlackBerry. Again, keep in mind, BlackBerry is not a short squeeze play. It's the undervalued play. There was 7%, roughly give or take, short squeeze positions in December. But in my opinion, I think in the future, potentially it could be a short squeeze play, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to be as GameStop's insane. Its positions in short squeeze was over 100%, which is nuts. And the gameplay for GameStop is going to be the short squeeze is going to be crazy. I'm going to explain soon in the video. It's basically going to be a 5 day like bonanza, and I'm going to explain. It's going to be like insane, exciting. I said insane probably too many times. But okay, so for BlackBerry, I'm going to say this for long-term investors because there's quite a few of you guys. I'm a long-term investor myself. When a stock goes flat for so long, right? This is BlackBerry. There's one of two things that happens to a stock. Either it's going to spike up like crazy or just spike down like nuts, right? Like it's just going to die. Hypothetically, not die, but you know what I mean. So for BlackBerry, it ran up. But then you could say like a fair point to say is like, well, that spike up is not hypothetically fully organic, right? And what I would say is it is. But you would say it's not organic because what is he going to say? WallStreetBets has brought it up, right? But WallStreetBets brought it up because it's undervalued. That's my opinion. Like not even my opinion. That's what they're going for, right? Undervalued. And then the reason I'm saying it's not bad and it's still organic is because just because they expedited and brought it to light in terms of how undervalued it is, and everybody else sees how undervalued it is, doesn't mean it's not necessarily like it was gonna happen. It was inevitable. I can't even say that word, but whatever. You know what I mean. Hopefully you know what I mean. So that happened. Next thing for the long-term investors, the MACD line, it crossed. It's a good sign. It's a really good sign. Because when the MACD line crosses, now it could be a false breakout hypothetically, right? But when it crosses, there's like, for example, when it crossed here back in 2012 October, you could have gone in at $7.48, and when it would have went up to like $16 roughly. And April 1st, 2013, that was back to 2012. That's a 6-month run up, right? Same thing here. It was March 17th. By the way, I'm going to analyze BlackBerry stock in more detail, like a lot more depth, and in terms of the Dow Jones, in terms of the stock market in general, in more detail on separate videos in further details showing major stuff. I think it's going to be awesome. If you're interested in that, consider subscribing, and so you could see when the videos are going to be posted in the future. But we crossed the MACD line here, March 1st, 2017. I'm just doing an amateur job in terms of measuring the dates. And then this is like February 1st, 2018. So almost a full year run up right there, right? Now it wasn't dramatic, but we're just starting this run up. Like it's going to be crazy. But again, this is just my opinion. I'm not a professional. Do your own research, form your own opinions, etc., etc. Don't buy or sell based off what I'm saying. Now we're going to get into the day stuff. So here's what's going to potentially happen tomorrow. Obviously, here's the selling after hours, right? Whatever institutional stuff, etc., etc. But we're going to hit resistance levels. I don't think personally we're going to open in the green. If we do open in the green, there's a chance. Okay, so there's a chance we could bounce off this resistance level right here. So I probably should have deleted some stuff, but there's a resistance going on from here. If you just follow my mouse on the screen, it's going through here. It's not really the strong, actually, yeah, this one's not the strongest one, but it's there nonetheless, right? We could bounce off it, and the lowest we'll open at tomorrow will be at 19. Actually, you know what? Let's just go full. No. Ooh, no, we're going to break it. Okay, if it was ideal, the lowest we'd be going is in the high $19, right? But most likely, there's a chance we're going to break through that. We are going to break that resistance level. So the next one would be, we're opening at roughly $19 tomorrow kind of thing. There's a resistance level here at $19 and something cents, the low $19. But if we go low, right? Because I think the institutional investors are going to break through some resistance levels, I think, right? But WallStreetBets servers are back up. They are strong. I think there's a chance we could be pretty on par somewhere in not crazy low. But if institutionals do break through, which I hope they don't, to be honest, because I'm biased. I own shares in this company in terms of BlackBerry. But if they do break through, these are the major resistance levels: $17 and 30 cents, 40 cents, right? And then the next level would be about the $16 mark, right? And then if we break through that, there's a resistance level at the $14.92, but it's not really that crazy. There's one at the $13, but the major one is $12 for the most part. So here's the major ones again. We got, basically, we could potentially open at 19, but I think we're going to open somewhere around the 18, 19. If we drop and don't bounce back up kind of thing, but there is no support level, so I don't know what's going to happen. I could see us touching $17.40 tomorrow. And then if we drop, we're going to go through all these support levels. But don't worry. I think the lowest we could go is 12. I don't really see that happening. Realistically, the worst case scenario, if I had to bet, I would say worst case scenario, if it gets really bad, is going to be $16, right? I think tomorrow the market in general, overall, in terms of the Dow Jones, is going to be plus or minus $2% tomorrow. I think it's going to be down 2%, specifically 1.8% down tomorrow from what I calculated, because I ended up doing a plus or minus kind of thing. So I think 1.8% down tomorrow, Dow Jones, worst case scenario. But nobody knows. Again, nobody knows about the markets, et cetera, et cetera. So again, do your own research. But if we do bounce up, so let's just say we hit $17.31, we could bounce up to the threshold. So there's a resistance level here that dates back since the dot-com bubble, by the way, believe it or not. It's roughly around the $23, $24 resistance level. And I was shocked we broke through it like nothing, like today. That was crazy. So it was right here. Just look at this, the dot-com bubble, 2000, February 8th, literally at the peak, right? And it's $23, $24, right? And then again, we come back at the resistance level right here, 2000, June 1st, and we just basically dabble around here, right? But then here's another interesting part, right? We hit the peak, another peak that goes way back since 2004, 2005. So right here is another major resistance level that dates back to 2004, 2005. It's at the $28, $29. In my future video, I'm going to further analyze and give way more better data points than just a vague $28, $29 mark. But it goes back here. So the 2008, October 1st, $28.95. Pretty much that's almost exact right there. $28.95 is the major resistance level. If we pass $29, I forgot how much it was. It's like a $29 and something cents. Then we're poised to if you want to get like ludicrous and you're thinking WallStreetBets and everybody else seeing it's undervalued and everybody like with fear of missing out kind of stuff, if we pass hypothetically tomorrow the $29 mark and something cents, we could be somewhere between the $32 to $34 level, because there's resistance at the 34.66 kind of thing, right? I don't think it necessarily will pass it tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a crazy battle. It's going to be it's blatant that basically institutional investors have pretty much put the line in the sand, and they're saying that they want to battle, right? Just because, in my opinion, from what they're doing, shorting the stock like crazy, trying to do this and that. They have like a bunch of like, for example, CNBC's bashing what like the individual investor not individual investor, but WallStreetBets saying this and that. So I think tomorrow is going to be epic. So it's going to be crazy. Again, here's the resistance level for BlackBerry. The major ones: $17.36, $16.17, and then the last. There's a bunch of resistance levels here. Hopefully, if you just play back the videos again, if you want to hear them. But the major one is $12.06. If institutional investors get like ridiculously crazy, there is another lower one than that, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be ridiculous. BlackBerry has really good fundamentals. There's a lot of good support levels, and there's that. So those are the upsides. Those are the downsides. Now for GameStop, this is nuts. So some of you guys asked me, what is the plan for the short squeeze? Is it Friday? Is it Monday? Et cetera, stuff like that, right? So from what I've been reading, the plan is to literally short squeeze the crap out of institutional investors. Not my words. That's what I've been reading from the posts. And I'm not speaking for WallStreetBets and all that stuff, but I'm just saying that's what I've basically gathered from reading, right? So, and it's crazy from what I read. Like, I'm gonna explain it. It's nuts. So there is actually a good amount of support levels. And in terms of short squeeze, what's happening is they want to get the stock to $1,000, right? Now the short squeeze is going to be so crazy that when the institutional investors have to cover their short positions, some of you guys are worried that you guys are going to be caught up on the top. If you get onto the very top, you will get a little bit burnt, right? But just try not to get to the very top. If you do your research, analyze graphs and all that stuff, you should be fine for the most part. But what's going to happen is, from what I've been reading, is 5 days of hand exchanges. So short positions will have to be covered, and basically they'll be buying your shares for 5 major days. So it's going to be nuts, because apparently they have so much positions. Keep in mind, BlackBerry is only in short position of 7% as of December, and I think it's going to go up, obviously, because positions are definitely probably going up from what they've been seeing. But for GameStop, it's over 100% short positions, right? There's going to be major coverage that they're going to have to do if the stock, I think, goes to $1,000, unless they're willing to bank a lot of money to just keep dumping, to keep getting short positions. I don't know. We'll see what happens, because they owe money. By the way, when you buy a stock and hold it, that's it. You're in the clear. When you're shorting a position, you owe interest on that. You have to cover it. It's just a bunch of it costs you money to short a stock. It's not like you just short it and you're just home free until you think the stock could hit that price, right? So here's the resistance levels that we have potentially. Right now, GameStop is already at the resistance level at aftermarket, right? There's another resistance level that it could hit. So we're looking at basically at $230, right? I could see it going there, but what's going to happen is the institutional investors, I think, are going to probably potentially drag it down to most likely the $200 level. But it's so volatile, I don't know. See, I think it's fair to say $200 is the lowest they'll get it to, right? But if you want to go crazy and think that it's not crazy, but like institutional investors will bring it down dramatically, then you're looking at the $140, $130. I think that's the utmost lowest. Again, I'm not a professional. Please do your own research, do your own due diligence, and find out what do you think? You form your own opinion. But the utmost lowest I think it's going to happen is $130 at whatever these levels might be. Again, it might be either $250 where it's at right now. That's a resistance level. $250, by the way. The $230 resistance level, or the $204 resistance level. There's more resistance levels across this board, 175 and all stuff, 141, 130. But these are the major ones: 250, 230, and 200. I think this one's the most practical one, 200. But if it goes nuts, the lowest it could go is 130. Now, if it spikes up, what's the positive? That's what you're gonna ask. The positive is there's a resistance, or there's Yeah, there's a resistance level at 222, right? So those were support levels. Sorry about that. Support levels, these are support levels. I don't know if I accidentally said resistance, support, so on and so forth. But here's the resistance levels, and it's $324. Another one's 350. Another one's 366. Another one's 375, right? I personally don't think we're going to create a new high tomorrow, right? Because it's going to be it's going to be crazy back and forth, I think, right? Because institutional investors created fear, aftermarket's still down. I think it's going to be balanced for the most part. There's going to be recovery. So there's going to be a balance, in my opinion, because WallStreetBets seems to be pretty strong. But I don't know if I don't think, if I had to bet, if we're going to break new levels. For BlackBerry, I could see it potentially. I'm not too hopeful for BlackBerry for new levels for tomorrow, but I could see it. But for GameStop, I think what's going to happen is, most likely, this is what's going to happen. It's probably going to close around somewhere between 323 to 348, somewhere between there. And then for BlackBerry, it's probably going to close around probably $25 still tomorrow. Potentially, actually, you know what? I could see $26 for BlackBerry tomorrow. Tomorrow, $26. I'll probably have to look at the graph before I say that, actually, to be honest. But that's pretty much it for that one. But then for BlackBerry, I could see it. Let me see. Yeah, I could see around $26 close tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen for the most part. If it wasn't a battle for institutional investors, I would project way higher for both, right? Not way higher. Yeah, it would actually be pretty high. It would be crazy, actually. But if you guys like this video, let me know. Like these type of videos, I'll post them more often in the future kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video because it helps out the channel, like the YouTube algorithm gods like that stuff, and they promote the video a lot more. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll try to answer them as quick as possible. And if you like the videos on stocks, financial stuff, financial freedom, wealthy mindset kind of stuff, consider subscribing. Really helps the channel. Really appreciate it. And legit, thank you guys so much again for helping me pass 200 subscribers. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.